It's a real one this week, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome, or welcome back to Empaths Anonymous podcast. I'm Christina.
I'm Danie.
And this week we have a really exciting guest, Oludara Adeeyo. She is a therapist, social worker, but she also is just a content creator and a really fun person. I've loved following her on socials. So I hope that you guys enjoy that. Before we get into that,
Yes.
What's in your cup, girlfriend?
In my cup is mediocre iced coffee that I've made from home. And I did come to the conclusion here that I have to break up with Coffee Mate.
With Coffee Mate. Because I'm bored. Because I'm bloated.
I was like, wait, what song is this? Yeah, I got to break up with Coffee Mate because the oils are getting to me. And here, like, it's just giving phlegm. Ew. Disgusting. All of it, honestly, I say mediocre because it's a pumpkin spice, quote, air quotes there, because it's not pumpkin spice, okay? It was a Sprouts pumpkin spice coffee pod thing, and
Ew.
it literally smells like mint chocolate chip. Like, it does not, there's nothing pumpkin about it. It smells like a peppermint patty. I don't know what they were thinking, but it's not pumpkin. I don't even really care for it that much. It's just what's in the house right now.
Right.
And then,
Did
like
they
I said,
mislabel it?
I'm wondering if
That's
it's like
so
a mint
wild.
mocha something. I'm not getting pumpkin. I'm not getting cinnamon. It's not giving fall at all. Plus, it's 100 degrees, so it's like literally doesn't even, I'm not in the mood. Anyway, I'm off the Coffee Mate, but that's my literal cup. In my figurative cup, I'm showing up a little bit relaxed.
Okay.
It's tough for me to show up relaxed a lot of the time when I have 1,000 other things ruminating and going on through my brain, like, oh, I didn't get to this before we started. Oh, I need to get to this after we're done. And it can just make me feel like I'm not in the moment. And that's a struggle for me because that's where I want to be. But realizing that I have extra time this semester and both of my classes go all the way through December.
Right.
And that's fantastic. And I don't have to stress about the timing of certain things. And really just enjoying where I'm at, enjoying my job, enjoying being around kiddos whom I love. And understanding that with the exception of high school age, have really been around so many different age groups. And I love each and every single one of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
So starting my morning with middle schoolers, you would think pray for her. But honestly, they're some of the best people, and they're so exciting, and they have so much determination to do well, especially my multilingual learners. And I actually enjoy getting up and being at school at 8 o'clock in the morning. And
Wow.
that's what's in my cup, and I love those guys.
Oh, I love that.
What's in your cup, sister?
I'm back at it again with the Muse
Back at it
Dixie
again.
D'Amelio Passion.
Not $1 Dixie.
$1 Dixie.
$1 Dixie. $1 Dixie.
They're
Were they still $1?
Yes,
Oh
they're
my
still 99
gosh.
cents at Sprouts, you guys. So
99 cents.
actually, this last time that I went, they didn't have them anymore. So I wonder if they just stopped carrying them. They
Yeah.
literally, I only saw them 2 times that I was at Sprouts.
Huh.
Same with
Pause.
there was that other drink that I really liked from Sprouts, and I got it a couple times. It was like the Odyssey drinks. It had, of course, mushrooms in them.
Oh, the mushrooms?
It was like orange. I can't find them. So I'm like, why is Sprouts cycling things brand so quickly? But anyway, that's what I have in my literal cup. In my life cup, I'm just trying to ground. The universe is throwing lessons at me. And I'm like, okay,
Big ones.
yeah, having to forgive myself for what I didn't know or red flags that I ignored, and not shame myself for showing up in spaces 100% as myself and not feeling like that is wrong, even when it comes back to bite you in the ass a little bit. Yeah, so that's how I'm showing up. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to learn, but I'm trying to do so without the shame and the disappointment in myself, because I am someone who's just very hard on myself.
Yeah, the judgment.
I am showing up learning. I'm showing up feeling a little bit more free, having some more freedom. I'm doing these group coaching, which is like so fun, and I actually have it after we're recording. So really looking forward to that. There's these amazing women in this group, and they're all creatives in some kind of way, and we're just all showing up wanting to learn more about ourselves, about our astrology, and how that really lends itself to our purpose in our life and things. And so it's been great. Give me a course. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always trying to learn, like, give me a course. I was literally...
Sign me up for Skillshare.
I was in here studying yesterday, and it was like, oh, I love this. Tell me about it. And
highlighting that.
Shout out Maddie Murphy from Cosmic RX. She is a Virgo, and she put together a 100-page workbook all about everything you would ever need to know about astrology and learning your own chart and astrology. So having a lot of fun with that. I also have been having crazy ass dreams, bro.
Oh, I had a weird dream. I forgot to tell you. I had a weird dream last night, and we were fighting.
No.
Yeah. Actually.
Do you know what about?
We were having a disagreement, and it was like you and my mom were in agreement.
Oh.
And I wasn't in agreement, and I can't remember what it was for. I couldn't explain myself.
Oh, no.
I was trying to get the words out. No one was understanding me. And then a lot of the time when I have dreams of conflict, I'm not able to speak because people are speaking over me.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. And it's a common theme. And it's not all the time, but it's usually around some type of like moon cycle, right? We had a new moon yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, and I woke up sweaty.
Oh, no. I hate that.
I woke up really sweaty.
I mean, Marge and I do be agreeing sometimes. And
I know.
be seeing eye to eye, but I never want you to feel like we're, like, ganging up on you.
No, because it's never that. And, like, we're never even having an argument.
Right. Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm just fucking with you guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, please, what dreams did you have?
Okay. First of all, I've been having, which I know why, but it's so fucking annoying. I've been having dreams about Joe Jonas again.
Amen.
More than one. And it was him and Austin Butler.
Oh my God, that's a
and they were like,
dream.
Yes, and they were like, you have to pick one of us. Kind of like this dream with Tatis.
The Tatis dream, and who was it? Who else was it? Was it someone you know in real life?
I feel like it was another Hispanic man, wasn't it? Was it him and Bad Bunny?
Was it? No, it was Tatis and somebody else.
Who else do I love right now?
It wasn't Manny.
It was Miguel. It was Miguel from Love Island.
Oh!
Yeah. Why do I... Okay, I keep having these dreams where men that I like or attracted to show up in my dreams, and they're like, you have to choose one of us. I'm like, what? But, yeah, I came to the realization today that I have loved Joe Jonas for 2 decades of my life.
And that means I've loved Nick for nearly the same. That's...
Yeah.
You know what? Not as much. Not as much as I used to.
Yeah, not to that level.
Not to that level of fandemonium.
No.
But I still have an appreciation for them, and like, would I still go see a show? Yeah, we literally tried.
We're going to their reunion show.
Oh yeah, we have to.
We're not trying. We are going.
We're going. Hello, VIP.
Yeah, definitely not on the same level. And it's like, I want to not, because here's the thing. I've liked Austin Butler for almost the same amount of time because he was on Hannah Montana in 2006.
Right.
And then he was in that movie with Sharpay.
Oh.
So I've liked both of them for almost 2 decades.
Wow.
And I hate it because they're both Leos, and I know that I shouldn't trust them.
I don't trust you. I don't.
Yeah, so I had that dream, and then I also had a dream where it wasn't necessarily Love Island because we weren't all sleeping in a room together. It was some kind of like competition show where I was on it with cast members from Love Island. So Leah was on it, Janae was on it, and for whatever reason it almost kind of felt like Big Brother. Like I had to convince them that I was on their side because I went to Janae and I was like, I'm never writing your name down, right? I'm never gonna vote you out. Like, I got your back, bitch.
Serious, yeah.
And then I had to explain something to Leah because, like, Leah thought that I had betrayed her. And I was like, no, girl, that's not what happened at all. Like, blah, 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 blah. So I was on some kind of competition reality show. Yeah. And I was, like, stressed the fuck out because I thought that everybody hated me.
A lot of stressful dreams going on in the new moons.
Yeah.
A lot of stress.
But it was interesting, and I was living in a mansion type of situation, but we each had our own bedroom. We weren't having to share a bedroom like they do in Love Island. So like The Challenge or like Big Brother, that kind of thing. Yeah. That kind of vibe. But I had both of those dreams last night, and I'm like, why am I...
I don't know, but today we learned some information. Some type of like screenshot or screen grab. The Brothers Brews or Brothers Brew or whatever. Yeah. With them 3 knuckleheads sitting on some chairs.
With some microphones.
So,
you guys, I think that there's a Jonas Brothers podcast coming.
Are they going to talk about music? Are they going to talk about, what are they going to talk about? Their popcorn? Are they going to talk about how much Nick loves golf? Are they just going to share funny tour stories? Can you give us the behind the scenes? Are you going to talk about what it's like to be a daddy?
That's what I want. Yeah. I want to learn, isn't his daughter's name Malty?
Yes, Nick's is
I want to know about her. I'm excited to hear about Joe's album.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming out.
Yeah. Maybe that's why there's just been a lot of Joe news circulating.
Yeah, it's like
and,
promotional.
And he's been popping up in your feeds and things like that.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll never shame another woman for dreaming about a man as dreamy as Joe.
It's really the brows and the eyes.
Yeah. As much as I love Joe, I just was never a Joe girl. It's funny because you gravitated toward the fire and I gravitated toward the earth.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And Kevin's just kind of like, I'm water.
Yeah, I do love Kevin, but I don't have the hots for Kevin.
No, I think he was always significantly older than us.
Yeah, so he felt like the older brother.
Yeah, we shared age groups with the other two.
Joe's only 3 years older than us, and Nick is...
The same.
The same?
He's
actually 1992? Younger. He's a younger.
Yeah.
Is he a September Virgo?
Yeah. Actually, his birthday's coming up.
Yeah, it is.
Happy birthday, Nicholas.
He's almost a year younger than me.
Almost, yeah. Almost. Just like a little baby. Are you a little baby? Oh, guys, we watched one more thing before we get into it. We watched the Back to Black movie about Amy Winehouse.
We did do that.
And we were just wondering why the Rotten Tomatoes score was so different from the audience score.
Yeah.
And now we know why. While I won't fault the actress for how I didn't like the plot or I didn't like how the movie was really going, do I think that maybe they could have cast it differently? Yes. Do I also think that we needed more of Amy's actual voice in the film? Yes. So there was a lot of things that I think could have been done differently. But I don't think it was a horrible movie. It just wasn't it just wasn't great.
It just, the beginning was so rushed that I feel like it set the tone for the whole movie. Yeah. I wanted a little bit more of who was Amy before she was Amy Winehouse, the performer.
Yeah.
They gave a little bit of background. You know that her parents were divorced.
Right.
But I wanted a little bit more. It needed to go deeper.
Yeah.
And I just don't
think we had so much screen time with her and this Blake character, which I get it because it was a huge part of her story.
Right.
And it was a huge part of her sobriety and ultimately what led to her passing. And I understand that part of it, but it would have been nice for it to not have gone to Amy at her grandma's house and then all of a sudden Amy signing a record deal in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
So quick.
Yeah, Marissa Abella. Yeah, I don't know if she's Hispanic because if she is, it would be obviously pronounced Marisa. Abela. And she did use her real voice, which I don't think that she's a bad singer. I just think in biopics, you either need to blend the voice like they did with the Freddie Mercury movie. It was Rami Malek, but then they blended it 50-50 with Freddie Mercury.
Right. It
so
gives
it's
you that
still...
feeling that this is still the artist that I love and care about. It gives you that nostalgia, the reminiscence of it all.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much how our week has gone. We started Love is Blind Mexico, which we talk about with Dara. And isn't that lovely to just get right into it?
It really is. Also, quick note, happy birthday to the late, great Amy Winehouse, because when this episode comes out, it's the week of her birthday. Her birthday's on September 14th, Virgo Queen.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Yeah. But yeah, that does lead us right back into the interview.
Yes.
So we hope you guys enjoy. Stick around. And we hope that you fall in love with Dara as much as we have.
Yay.
See you on the other side, bitches.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Empaths Anonymous podcast. Today we have such a treat, a very special guest, Miss Oludara Adeeyo, who is a Los Angeles-based mental health therapist, author, and social media content creator who is passionate about encouraging people, especially Black women, to face every day with self-confidence and self-love. Welcome to the podcast, Dara.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Of course.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate the time. And of course, when anyone ever says yes to us, we feel all the flutters. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So just starting off, what is in your cup today?
All right. So what is in my cup today is this Brazilian tea. So I get lymphatic drainage massages every month and sometimes twice a month. And my masseuse recommended this Brazilian tea. It's got green tea, yerba mate, peppermint, guarana, ginger, all these things in it. Safe caffeine. I don't know.
But
but
I see what you're saying. Okay.
It's supposed to de-bloat your stomach. but it's also caffeinated. So
Oh, good. Okay,
Right.
mhm.
cool.
With the
Does that help
lymphatic
with the drainage and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think yes, and I think it's supposed to
Ah,
also help with like bowel movements.
yeah.
Like your
Okay. Yeah.
stomach.
Gotta stay regular.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Ooh, okay.
mhm,
I'll have to look into that one. I used to
mhm.
get lymphatic drainage massages too, and I love them. They make
Me
such a huge
too.
difference. Hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel a difference in like my inflammation in my body, and that has been amazing.
Yeah, I agree. How are
Mhm.
you showing up today? What's in your life cup of life, as we like to call it?
How am I showing up today? I think I'm showing up with gratitude. Yes, I think like that's where I'm at today. I work for myself, and we also had a long weekend, so it was like I had a
Yeah.
relaxing long weekend. Had an acupuncture appointment this morning that went well, and I've just been relaxing all day. And I'll see a few clients tonight for therapy and just kind of chill. So,
Yeah. Yeah, the
hmm
acupuncture really just puts you in that zen
hmm
mood. Hmm.
yes, 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 because
I
you
love
did
it.
all the points I needed for today.
Yeah.
Oh, very
So.
nice. I'm taking notes.
Mhm.
I'm like, how many things do I need to sign up for after this?
I know.
I
Yeah.
know the wellness of it all. We talk
Right.
about that all of the time. The access to being able to get some of these
Mm,
resources, it's like they
yeah.
make the world of difference, but not everybody has
Yep.
access. So I love seeing more resources pop up for Black and Brown
Hmm.
communities because I think it's so important that we all have the same access to these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. I saw a TikTok the other day about some type of lymphatic drainage, and it was like your armpit should be a pit, not a puff. So I'd like run to the mirror and be like, "Do I have a puff or do I have a pit? I don't know." So
I
yeah,
know the
just
hypochondria of it all.
yes.
I
One
mean,
more
yes,
thing.
I know. Right.
One more thing to add to my list, but that's all right. So we, of course, stalked your TikTok as we
Oh,
do. And it's so fun. It's so funny. We really just realized that you are Black Girl Joy personified. And we love to see it. We love to see you living your authentic life and sharing that with us online. And so, since we are, doesn't feel like it, but we are nearing the end of summer, could you share with us your favorite moment or memory and then how you like to transition into the fall season?
Ooh, my favorite memory of the summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So let's see. The summer I traveled. I traveled quite a bit. Let's see. So I love to travel. Travel is definitely like, I guess it's kind of a hobby. And it's also like, as a single girl in my mid 30s, no kids, no man, I'm like, woo,
Yeah.
let me book a trip,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll meet someone,
Yeah.
But,
Exactly.
but so my favorite, it has to be the travel I took. I went to the Dominican Republic in June for my childhood friend's wedding. She's Dominican,
Fun.
and we went to the DR, and it is quite a trek to get there from the West Coast to the DR, but it was fun to be there for my friend and see the fine men in the
Oh,
DR.
yes,
You don't have to tell us
girl.
about the men in the DR.
Okay,
We
okay.
can't get started because we'll never stop.
Oh yeah, there's a few Dominicans on my radar.
Oh yes.
you know, it's like, oh wow, hello. Okay.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden
Um,
I love baseball.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
We do.
absolutely.
I mean, I do
exactly.
actually love baseball, but like I
Yeah.
really love baseball now.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It was fun to do that, and then I had also went to Seattle for a festival, and I had met up with some family. So I have a really huge family on my dad's side. My dad has 17 brothers and sisters, so I have too many
Amazing.
cousins that I
Wow.
don't know.
That is a
So
big family.
yes, yes. And so these were cousins that I've never met, but there's one cousin that I do know. And it was fun to be reunited with family and also have a new experience and be in a different city. I've never been to Seattle, so that was fun. And then just last week, I was in Riviera Maya for a friend's 40th
Ooh.
birthday. And that was awesome. She like planned everything, she paid for everything, and then we paid, obviously, but it was like, this is the type of carry on I like. I'm like, I just show up
All right.
and have
Yeah.
fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I'm always the planner, so my dream is to be able to have that situation of like, I just want to get on a plane, tell me where the hotel is, I'm gonna get
Yes.
an Uber, I'm gonna show up with my bikinis and just be ready to
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
First, she emailed us a 55-page PDF with everyone's bio,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
and playlists and outfit suggestions.
I love
And,
that.
I love it.
she was bringing, different people from her different areas of her life. And so that was really cool. Even down to like the transportation from the airport. She was like, I found a different one and I'm going to book it for everyone. And I was like, luxury.
Wow.
I was
Yes,
like,
it
I
Wow.
does
love.
feel luxury. I need to meet her.
Mhm.
Does this
Yes.
friend happen to be an earth sign?
Yes. She's a Virgo.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was really
Virgos rise
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, you have been jet setting. I'm like, wow, this is goals.
Mhm. And as I transition into fall, I'm definitely want to settle down a bit, but it's hard because I do travel for work too, with promoting my book and whatnot. So I'm trying to not go anywhere until winter, but we'll see. I don't know
Yeah.
because I'm like quick to be like, ooh, let's go to somewhere,
Yeah. And you can. So that's the
Yeah.
beauty of it. You can
Yeah.
just pick up your stuff and go. That's great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. We will definitely be following along and I'll be with you in spirit, girl. So your love for Latino artists really touches my soul as a fellow reggaeton fan. Can
Yay.
you speak to like how you fell in love with Latine culture and reggaeton, and what excites you about collaborating with other BIPOC
Yeah.
creators?
I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in the East Coast. I am a millennial, so I was like in middle school when reggaeton was having its thing here in the
Yeah.
US. And so like for me it's nostalgic. And just reggaeton just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside because I'm like, ooh, my childhood and just being young and fun and free. So I genuinely just love the music. And I think I also wanted to learn Spanish just because for my profession as a social worker, it's good to be bilingual. I think it's also a hobby of mine. Like I like learning other languages. I tried to master French growing up, but
Hard.
but it is hard, especially if you're not speaking it every day. But it makes me feel connected to my mother. My mother was a woman who spoke multiple languages, and it makes me feel kind of connected to her. So I want to speak Spanish, and I live in LA now, so it's it's like
Right.
there's Spanish everywhere.
Oh, yes.
But I think around the time I decided to learn Spanish is also around the time I got into Bad Bunny, and I didn't know what he was saying, but I was
Do we
like,
need to?
We
yeah,
don't.
right,
We don't either.
yeah, right. Do we need to? Because once you do, you're like, oh my
Like,
god.
this is Benito, this is a little dirty.
I know.
Okay.
I recently posted a video with one of the songs, Agosto, and I was like, I have to
Yeah.
stop at a certain point because, yes, the beat is tropical, but he
Yeah.
says, baby, let's go have sex under the stars. Like, like, so I need those, and this is a video with like my friends, like,
Yes. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I got really into Bad Bunny. I really liked his vibe. And so I want to know what he's saying too.
Yeah.
And so that started the love. So the love is nostalgic, childhood, and just my genuine interest in language. And also part of language is culture. So like listening to music and watching TV. And I actually will say it's telenovelas that actually got me being like, I need to learn Spanish. Because I would watch telenovelas and I would be like, oh my God, the drama.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. They definitely build out the stories,
Yes.
and the character development is so much different than shows that we watch here in the US. A lot of them have episodes every night.
Yes.
If maybe not for one. Yeah, my grandparents, they can't stand each other, but they'll watch a telenovela together. Okay?
So
They'll
funny.
sit in the living room and they'll be like, for this 1 hour, I can
Be around
probably
you.
be around you just for the hour,
Yes.
though.
Yes.
It's like the common ground. And yeah, it's right at 6, 7 o'clock. They're right there in front of the TV.
Yeah.
Because if you miss one, I mean, imagine you're missing a lot of information.
You do. And
A lot of drama.
yeah, and I was transitioning so I'm a therapist now, author, content creator, but before I was a journalist, and when I was transitioning from working in magazines to social work, I was a babysitter and a nanny, and so like when I would drop the kids off, I had time during the day and I would just watch these telenovelas. And I got hooked on Sin Seno Si Ay Paraíso. And it was crazy. Crazy, like just the craziest things I've ever seen. But you're right. It's like when you miss one day, you're like, oh my God, I need to catch up because
so much
I'm
happens.
missing part of the plot.
Right, so much happens in such a small amount of time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've never watched telenovelas, actually. I've only watched Jane the Virgin, and I know that they had, like, her dad was in a telenovela. But
Yeah.
we recently started watching Love is Blind Mexico.
Oh,
Girl.
yes.
It is so good. It's just
really
so
good.
different
Ooh.
in the most refreshing way.
Ooh, nice. I started and I stopped, but I've heard okay. I've heard it's been good.
It has
Mm.
been. Yeah. And it has been like helping me with my Spanish because the more I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I understand what they're saying. I don't have to read the subtitles so religiously.
Nice.
But yeah, they just have a different kind of like passion and zest for life, which I think is why I also love Bad Bunny and just reggaeton music because it has similar joy to the Black community in that kind of way, but it's just expressed in a different way. And like the spice and the flavor and the movement, moving my hips is very, what's the word, somatic. So yeah, I can definitely relate to you on that. You have your Bad Bunny Chronicles. Do you have any fun memories from his tour?
When I started the Bad Bunny Bonnet Chronicles, it wasn't like I got on the internet and was like, I'm starting this. It was just kind of something that came out organically because I think a community was forming online for the Bad Bunny concert and people were like really obsessed with him and wanted to see the concerts live if they couldn't go because also the tickets were really hard to get. One of my best friends is Mexican, so I would always ask him, what is he saying? And that just spiraled into like, me making videos about it. But I would say my memories from the tour is definitely making my videos, but also the dancers and I saw him in LA and I also saw him in San Diego. So that was fun. Actually, I think my favorite memory is like the community that was created.
Yeah.
Online.
I would agree. Yeah. I didn't go to this most recent tour, but I went to World's Hottest. Yeah. And I agree, just the energy. I was living in Houston at the time, so it was at the stadium where the Astros play. And just the energy, and I think that there were 70 to 80,000 people there. And I had never been around so many brown people, like that many brown people at once, especially not in my own culture. And so I was like, this is the coolest feeling ever. Like, full on having sex behind me. I was like, oh, okay, girl, what is going on? All right. But it was such a cool experience, and I would love to see him again. I didn't make it to the last tour, but it's just, different energy.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't say anyone having sex, but people would get belligerently drunk before the concert. I was like, these tickets were not cheap. Like, so, yeah, I went to the last tour. It was different. The vibe was different. Yeah, that album was different. I won't say it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same saison, but
I know.
Yeah, I know that we were having that conversation before because actually we were playing his music before we got on the call here, and she's like, "Oh, he put out a new song." She's like, "I'm so far off the Bad Bunny train because I think that there was definitely a shift from that tour versus what happened in between and then the next tour." I mean, we don't have to talk about the Kenny of it all.
Right, I know. I was fully in it like until Coachella and stuff, and then I think like for my own mental health, I'm like, I need to take a break from this. Because he's giving me trauma.
Yes, that was I had to step away. I had to step away, not even because he was dating Kendall. I think it was just, when something becomes just too big, that it's just like, all right, this is overwhelming and kind of weird. And also, I mean, if we want to be honest, everyone loved Bad Bunny because of what he stood for with Puerto Rico and social justice. And it did feel like this was a different direction. But also, if you step back, you're like, is it a different direction? Is he just living his life?
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
But
we can really go into that too, as letting artists, they're exploring and they're evolving the same way that we are. And I can still appreciate the exposure that has come from him blowing up. I think is amazing. I'll never take that away from him. I think he's an incredible artist and a visionary, and that's what it is. I hope he's having fun and living his life, and I'm excited for his next project.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to ever reach the same like
Right.
pandemonium
Yeah.
as Un Verano Sin Ti did.
Yeah.
Because that was just like a moment in time. Like you had to be there. It was like COVID was still a thing.
Yes.
It came out
Yes.
like 2021. So it's
Yes.
that entire year. I was just blasting that album over and over and over again.
So it was a memory associated with a historical event.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was just a moment in time. It was like the album we needed at the time. It just felt fun. It felt like he really brought the culture into it, and it just, I don't know, it was just a different time.
It was, yeah.
Like you had to be there. There's no way else to explain it. Like you had to be there. The vibes were amazing, but it's just different. And I hope the next project is better. Now, I will say, I feel like the album that was after Umbrella Tea was rushed. I feel like it came out too soon. That's what I think. Because it came out, well, maybe 2 years after, technically. But I think with the tour, World's Hottest Tour ended, and then we had a new album, and it was just like, wait, we didn't get to fully marinate.
Right. He was headlining Coachella, still performing the last album, and then the new album came out, and it was such a different, it was a return to his older sound.
Yeah.
It was just a lot.
Yeah, we were like, wait a minute.
It's just different. Yeah, it's like we were still trying to vibe and be in the summer tropical vibe, and he was like, "Nah, I'm done with that shit. We're on to bigger and better things." And yeah, it just was different.
Yeah.
Resonated differently with me. I liked it, but Verano Sin Ti is still on my Spotify Wrapped every year, and it was like it's like what 4 years old at this point. So
nearly. Yeah, one of my favorite things to come of the pandemic, I mean, not very many, but one of the best things I think was, oh my gosh, why can I not remember his name? But he was a really famous DJ, and he created, why can't I remember his name?
Club Quarantine?
No, he did Club Quarantine, and he would go on Instagram Live like almost every night. Why can't I remember his name?
I remember you telling me about him. I don't remember his name.
I don't remember.
Something. Anyway, a lot of DJs are really quick to transition into the next song, right? But he had this saying where he would really let something play and really let people enjoy it, and he would say, "Let it breathe."
Yeah.
So sometimes when you don't let stuff breathe, I think it could have had even a more lasting effect.
Yeah.
Had he not released something so soon after, because when your favorite artist releases a new project, of course, all you want to do is support them.
Yeah.
Even if you're not really quite ready for it, you're like, well, I have to give them streams or they're going to suffer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Beehive member. I love Beyonce. But I will be honest, Cowboy Carter, I am finding it hard to get into. And I don't know, it's because it came out too soon after Renaissance, even though it was needed and it was perfect. But it's a different sound, right? It's not necessarily a sound I'm used to with Beyonce. I'm very used to R&B Beyonce. So that's been something that's been hard for me. But again, I'm like, yes, I'm going to listen to it, give it the stream, support it.
Yes, exactly.
Learn all the lyrics. But it's like, if you don't let a project breathe, I feel like that can be applied to a lot of things in life. You know?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I could still blast Renaissance every single day if I wanted to. But also, Cowboy Carter did serve as a distraction from Renaissance. And we were just coming off the tour. We were just coming off of the film of the tour, which for people like me who didn't get to go to Renaissance tour in person, the film was incredible and I loved it, and I loved seeing all the behind the scenes and her thought process and just the way that she creates.
Yeah.
And when you think that she's not thought about something, you were wrong. She's thought about it 150 times.
Yes.
And I love that whole era, and I think Cowboy Carter was for Beyonce.
Yeah.
I think it was just for her. And I think that she needed to do it because of her experience. And she's like, watch me, watch this. I literally don't care what y'all do with it. You can listen, you cannot listen. This album is for me. And so
I love that, right? Yeah. You love that as an artist. Like she gets to do that. Like you're like, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, huge privilege.
Yeah, her take back moment.
Yes, of course. And I guess to kind of wrap that up with a bow. Our connection to you was via our very first guest on this podcast, which was Miss Taylor Elise Morrison. And she, right, love. Actually, her inner workout app is up and running, and it's fantastic. And I'm on her newsletter, so a little plug there for Taylor, who works so hard. But the reason why we reached out is because of what she shared with us, which is in your self-love and your self-care journey, it's notable that you say to start small and start safe. So if you could help us understand that a little bit more.
You know, I feel like that comes from my work with working with trauma, with people who have trauma, and just being a social worker and working with individuals who are unhoused. Often I would get clients who were living on the street but were like, I want a house, I want this. And I'm like, okay, well, first we've got to get you off meth. So can we let's maybe use less meth? You know, like, so that idea is just a general idea of when you're making goals. It's always a good idea to start with realistic goals. And so when it's safe, it's something that, okay, I can actually achieve this. And when I achieve this, I'll feel better about myself and it'll make me motivated and I want to keep going and going. If I apply to my life right now, I'm on a health journey with my hormonal health, and I've got thyroid condition and I've got PCOS and all these things that come with it. And if you're a PCOS girly, you understand. So I'm okay. So I like gained a lot of weight because I was stressed and burnt out. And so now I'm on this health journey of trying to lose weight the natural way before they try to put me on Ozempic. And but I've struggled with working out, which in the past, I've never struggled with working out. I've always been an athlete. I love exercise, but I've had to just try yoga once a week and just been like, okay, this is all I can do. Cause I'm a person who I used to go to yoga 2, 3, 4, I could do it 5 days a week if I wanted to. But I was so burnt out, depressed, I couldn't even fathom the idea of I couldn't even fathom the idea of working out. So I was like, okay, let me commit to going to yoga once a week and let's see what happens. And sometimes I wouldn't go and I would have to manage those emotions and maybe shame I may feel. But now I'm in a place where I went to yoga twice this week. I've been building up the momentum for probably 6, 7 months now with going once a week, twice a month, or 3 times a month. And so now I am feeling good. So that's it applied to my life. And I think it's a really great way to just get you motivated towards your goals ultimately.
Love that. What we said about the let it breathe phrase, when you have little things like that, like serve as daily reminders, that really helps when you have a phrase that you can just come back to when you are feeling overwhelmed or when you don't know where to start. Starting safe, starting small, it's like, okay, I could do both of those things. I could choose a safe thing for me right now because you can choose the scale. You can choose how small it is. It could be microscopic, right? It could feel very simple, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that simple because it's more so a stepping stone towards something larger.
Yeah.
We love that.
Especially now in this culture of being on the self-development hamster wheel and always being thrown these messages of you need to eat right, and you need to be on all of these supplements, and you need to be going to Pilates, and you need to be going to the gym and lifting weights, and you need to be doing XYZ and all of these things. And I'm just like, as a person who's trying to get my mental health together, I was just diagnosed with OCD. I have, PCOS and endometriosis, and I just have a lot going on just physically, and then also add in other things in your life, family things, work, other stuff. There's no way that you can do everything at once, and we shouldn't be expected to. So I really love that phrase because it's just a reminder of you don't have to go from 0 to 100. In fact, it may not be a good idea to do that sometimes.
No, right. Because you go from 0 to 100 and then you might just crash and burn out and back to 0.
Right.
So
then sometimes it takes you longer to pick yourself back up the second time because those feelings of shame, and you're like, oh, how many times do I have to try this, and how many times do I have to come back here? We were just talking about this, always feeling like you're back at square one with at least one thing in your life. It's like, gosh, I've gotten so far with this, and now I feel like I'm 20 steps back just because of this one event or this one person or whatever it is. But definitely a thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm so excited to dive into your book a little more and tell our listeners about it. So your book, Self-Care for Black Women, it felt like a love letter to our community as I was reading it. What inspired you to write it, and what are some of your biggest lessons that you came away with?
So, what inspired me is many things. One, I am very passionate about helping Black women. When I went to get my master's in social work, I looked at a lot of research because I went in focused on mental health in the Black community. And then as I did projects and I got access to research, I became more interested in how stress and mental health and how that all works out with Black women. And I found a lot of interesting things out just in general. I found out that, and also it's a very personal journey for me because I lost my mother in 2013 and she was ill with rheumatoid arthritis. And I watched her body wither away just because it's very painful and it's an autoimmune disease. So she became bedridden. So I had to take care of her. And so in that period of taking care of my mom, which was high school, college, after college, and in that period, I really reflected on my mom's life. And I also began to see how maybe the way she took care of herself was impacting the way I took care of myself. And I realized my mom never really took a break. She never really took care of herself. And I realized I was operating the same way. I was very hard on myself mentally, internally, and I was also very hard on myself externally. I had a lot of high expectations for myself, and that was damaging my mental health and my physical health. So ultimately, like, the inspiration for the book is for Black women who really just never thought about self-care, who never really thought like they could do it. And the book is broken up in 150 tips because, like I say, it starts small. Also, as a therapist, when I work with people who have things like anxiety and depression, we have to try certain things. We have to try different methods and we have to be consistent with them to see if they'll work. And what I've realized with the book itself is that when I talk to Black women from all ranges of ages, from 18 to 65, a lot of them who feel really impacted by the book are like, I never thought that going for a walk regularly would really help my mental health, right? Which that sounds like, oh, duh, but no, sometimes you're just like, I'm too busy to play with my puppy. I'm too busy to sit down and do nothing. I'm too busy to make time for myself. So ultimately, I just wanted to have a book that really encouraged Black women to stop and make time for yourself in the way that I wish my mom would have stopped and made time for herself and not ignore her health and not ignore all these things and really taking care of herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I know becoming a caregiver to a parent can sometimes feel like a whirlwind of emotions. And you don't ever really expect that as a child until
Oh,
much later
yeah.
on in your adult life, right? Especially if you've seen your parents take care of their parents and they were in their much younger
Yeah.
age and things like that. So that could be a tough thing to come to terms with, and then let alone try to heal from, which is another thing that we discussed, this concept that you get so far along a certain timeline and you feel like you should be at this level of
Oh,
healing
yeah.
and you're not, and it can feel really overwhelming and debilitating and really disheartening sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to keep in mind that the ebbs and flows are very normal. I think you could have a great day where you could feel wonderful and amazing and fantastic, and then the next day you're in the depths of despair. And both of those feelings, I think, are valid and are
Yeah.
okay.
I think that like self-care sometimes for our community is a luxury that we feel like we're not afforded because we just have a lot on our plate. And so I think that it's good to have a resource, a book like this, where you can really slow down and be a lot more mindful. One lesson a day. There's 150, pick one. And don't be
Right.
like overwhelmed to like, I need to do this and I need to meditate and I need to journal and I need. Let's start with
Yeah.
one thing. And
Yeah.
let's have one reminder for ourselves every day to remind
Right.
ourselves that we are worthy and that we can
Yes.
create the life that we love.
Yes.
And start from there and take baby steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen it like, so I have a really great friend. She's Chinese American and she, obviously supported me and she got the book and she read it. And, she was like, I realized that I stopped. She's also a surgeon. So her life is intense. She's an ear, nose,
Yes.
throat surgeon.
Oh,
So
wow.
she's a surgeon, she's a professor. very busy mom too as well, and a wife. Anyway,
Oh,
so
goodness.
but incredible human, right? But she was like, I realized I stopped playing the trumpet. She's a musician, and we met in childhood, but she was the drum major and I was the cheer captain. So we worked together a lot in high school. But so she realized I stopped playing the trumpet. I don't know why I did that. And so she was like, reading this book really encouraged me to realize that I can make time for myself and I can do something like playing the trumpet so I feel good and have something else outside of like, that makes outside of her responsibilities. And another instance, the receptionist at my dentist, I gave her my book. And when we first started talking, she was living with this roommate and she hated the living situation, but she couldn't really find the motivation to do it. And she read the book and started implementing some things and finally figured out her own life, and living on her own is so much better and doing so much better and really figuring out what she wants to do. And so I think that is like you were saying, we sometimes feel like we don't have time, we don't have the luxury, but it's like we really do now, right? Like I think in this time period, we really do now. So.
Right. It reminds me sometimes of how within our communities, just speaking to Latino culture specifically, that could be seen as soft, which is a lot of the time not really how you want to be perceived, because for the most part, you're always just in every aspect of your life and in every area, you're just trying to prove your worth to the outside world and a lot of the times to yourself. So if you take time to do anything other than bettering your life or helping someone in some way or just doing something that is always a selfless act, then it can feel very selfish to take that time for yourself. And it can feel very much like a privilege that, what Christina was saying, we don't necessarily deserve or we don't have time for ourselves to allow us to experience that privilege, which is that's not true. That's a lie. Because we very much deserve to love on ourselves and figure out what makes us, right? Not our profession, not our title, whether it be mother, wife, etc. It's who are we as people?
Yeah.
Who are we as women? Right? So
Absolutely.
I guess before we wrap it up, did you have any other questions for us or anything else you wanted to add to the conversation?
Also in my cup, Olipop.
Oh,
we love Olipop here.
I'm an Olipop girl.
Yes.
I'm an Olipop girl.
We are such drink girlies.
It's bad.
It's a really bad. We spend a lot of money on different type of beveraginos. It's a lot. And then we recently learned that Poppy isn't a very good prebiotic soda, but I was like a diehard Poppy girl. I was like, dang, that sucks. So it's like we are on the Olipop, and then I feel like you might really like Tepache.
Oh, I've had that too.
Okay.
It's good.
So and this dangerous because they sell their subscription online. You can get a subscription
sent to your house.
Sent to your
monthly.
house. Yes.
No.
I know. And they're so good. We've not had a flavor that we don't like. That's the problem. So like when they send us a variety pack, it's like, oh, I love every single one in here.
So
and
good.
that's a danger zone for us.
We have to savor them and set a limit of I can only have this many this week, otherwise they're going to be all gone. And then I'm going to have to spend another $40 getting another case.
Oh my gosh.
Expensive.
It's only $40. How much in a case?
It's 12.
Okay.
And then if you do the subscription, you do save, for however often you get it. But yes, we are very much drink girls.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I have a question. What brought you guys to start this podcast, Empaths Anonymous?
Ooh, good question. I've actually been wanting to start a podcast for 6 years. I had another friend who in the past I begged her, and we were in our unhealed girl era, so our whole entire podcast was going to be centered around getting drunk and watching classic films. And I'm like, nobody wanted to listen to that. I'm glad that never became a thing. But it really just came about like we both were in life transitional moments, kind of like that back to square one, I fell on my ass kind of moment. Found ourselves living together, and we just had all these conversations, healing, deep conversations on the couch. And we're like, are we the only ones that feel this way? Why have these other people treated us this way, and yet we're the ones sitting here feeling bad, even though we were the ones betrayed or whatever the feeling was. It's like we're sitting here feeling bad. and they don't feel bad. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Literally.
basically coming to this discovery of, oh, we're empaths. That's why. Because we always are going to have so much empathy for the other person involved and for other people. We're both eldest daughters, so
Oh,
we've, like,
yeah.
grown up. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, we've grown up primed to serve and
Yes.
like, wanting to, we're the ones kind of like leading the family in a way.
It's just the takeover.
Yes.
It's just the takeover. And then as soon as that's allowed to happen, the parentification and all that's allowed to happen, it's such a common and natural thing for our cultures to, as soon as that child starts to develop some sort of sense of self and that caregiving aspect and that attitude, it's like, okay, well, you better go ahead and take your siblings and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And even as much as we try to break those things, you know, my mom breaking it in very different ways than how she grew up, because she's one of four and the eldest of four.
Oh, wow.
You know, it wasn't really allowed as much for me, but it was still allowed. And also, I took a huge responsibility over my brother just innately. That's just part of my personality. So having a younger sibling and her having also two younger brothers
Oh, wow.
that are, you know, a significant age gap, right? 5 and
6 years, yeah.
So just kind of that immediate, I gotta take care of my babies type of thing.
Yeah.
And we're, you know, 8 and 10 years old, and it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but it's a very, very normal thing. And so realizing that there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it is important to acknowledge that that's something that did happen and might explain a lot of the things that we take into our adulthood.
Yeah, and how you
into
move.
our relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Into your relationships, how you move through the world. You know, I'm not an eldest daughter. I'm an only daughter, but I feel like the eldest daughter. And I often think only daughters and eldest daughters are one and the same, because I have a sibling who is 9 years older than me and a boy. Yet I feel like I'm the eldest, you know, I'm the power of attorney. I'm the, you know, caregiver. So you have to go that journey, especially if you are eldest or only daughter, to realize the way you've been parentified is showing up in your relationships with yourself and with other people, your work, everything. So that's why I'm on this journey of like joy, carefree. I'm living my life however I want to. You know, when my mom passed away and her youngest sister after the funeral was like, you know, now you're the mother. I said, no.
No, I'm not.
The mother is dead. Me? No. I am the grieving daughter.
And they probably don't even realize that they're doing that. It's just completely taking that moment away from you to grieve your mother. That is a huge thing. I'm not going to step into this role, you know, that was lost because my mother has passed on.
Right.
You know, that doesn't automatically mean I'm going to fill into those shoes. Like, I've barely even got to the point of understanding what's going on here. Right. So I think that outsider perspective, it's so hard to quiet those voices when you're used to always making sure that your ears are on. Which we've learned is also a trauma response. If anything comes out of this podcast is obviously these amazing conversations that we're having, but my brain is getting so big. We are learning so much about our journeys and just how to navigate the knowledge that's being poured into us, and we feel so grateful for that. But it was basically this, minus the green velvet couch, like, and minus all the lights and the cameras and things, but we were always having these conversations about, you know, are we crazy?
Are we the crazy ones?
Are we the crazy ones?
No, you're not.
Yeah. People get to move about life however they wish and however they please with seemingly no consequences, and they get to treat people this way and treat people that way. And we're left here like, back at my parents' house, I'm 32 with the 3-year-old, and this is not how I saw my life going as a 30-something. But that's the point. That is the point. Meeting each other where we're at and meeting what we call our audience, the feelers, where they're at, because we cannot be the only ones struggling through this craziness.
Right. So that's really what it was born out of. We were like, we want to be able to be authentic, because I think that social media kind of adds this layer of pressure of like, oh, well, they look like they have their life together. Why am I over here struggling?
Yes.
We wanted to be authentic in the fact that like you can go after your dreams and you can do something that you really love and not have everything together. And we also wanted to be like, well, we deserve to find our people too. We're doing this because it's like we want to open up conversation. We want to have a community, and we want to attract people into our lives who are going to have that give and take instead of just taking. So that's kind of what it's our purpose. It's what it was born out of, and we're just here doing it because we enjoy it.
Yeah, just bebopping around, really.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, we're definitely taking notes on the carefreeness of it all, because planning something like this and putting out an episode every week is very fun and very exciting, but still work outside of everything else we've got going on. And so we've tried our best to adopt this idea of very much going with the flow and just living in that moment instead of keeping things so rigid, because I think for her and I, that is the thing that's ingrained in our personalities and how we show up to anything ever in life.
We
is
need
like,
to succeed.
What is the plan? Give me the structure and the outline, and I also need to see the results, and it needs to be perfect. So we're definitely experiencing a lot of individual change too. But all that to say, we appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing all of your knowledge with us, and really just having a lighthearted, fun, and free conversation. We really wanted to tap into the more fun questions, because we do understand that being a therapist and holding on to those things can feel like a huge burden sometimes. So we just wanted to ask you about Bad Bunny. And
your travels.
And your travels, and have a good time while still remaining authentic to what it is that you bring to the table. And of course, talking about the affirmations, which is so amazing. I got here in one day. So
awesome.
Amazon Prime that bitch.
If you're not a Kindle or an ebook girly, you can get it tomorrow if you just order on Amazon today. So again, thank you so much. And before we sign off, we wanted to give you the opportunity to tell our feelers where they can find you on socials.
Yes, absolutely. I am on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, at Oludara Adeeyo. So OLUDARA ADEEYO.
Perfect. And of course, we'll link all those as well.
Below.
Pinterest is a new one for us, but of course, we both have a Pinterest.
Yes.
I feel like Pinterest is a very millennial app.
Yes.
And I'm honestly here for it. If we keep one thing to ourselves, I'll keep Pinterest for the millennials.
But guys, definitely check out Dara on TikTok. She's always having a blast. I love seeing what you're up to and just the joy and the spirit that you bring to everything. So go check her out. You will not regret it. And again, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
So that was so much fun. As much as I love talking about mental health and the different aspects of mental and emotional health, I just love getting on the couch and having a kiki too. It's just, it was needed. And she's so fun. So thanks again to Dara for coming on.
Of course.
We hope that you guys enjoyed it. To close out today, instead of having our serenity prayer, our norms, we're going to read a couple affirmations out of her book. So we're each going to pick one. We will link
listeners, we just showed the camera for the YouTubers.
We're going to link it for you in the descriptions if you want to order that. Like we said, 1 day delivery. We got it the next
day, you guys. It was so quick.
It was so quick.
And it's so cute. I mean, we've got a contents happening here based on each and every category, mind, body, soul. I hope you guys are enjoying our serenity prayers. We never really get feedback on them, but they're so fantastic.
If we do say so ourselves.
We
do love them. Watch, I flipped to one and I was like, I don't like that one. Oh, wow. Okay.
You have to read it.
Here's one that's real. Resist burnout. Contrary to society's popular belief, life as a Black woman does not always have to be associated with struggle. Yes, the environments we're in create situations where we are pushed into working harder than everyone else. However, that doesn't mean we have to buy into the belief that we must burn out to be valued. When we overwork our body by doing things like working after hours, we're not valuing our rest time. We're putting the need of others before our own. It can be hard to shift from being a martyr for the sake of everyone else, but you can do it. Here are some tricks on how you can resist burnout. Get an accountability partner. Have someone in your circle whose opinion you trust and value. These are people who you are okay with calling you out on your BS, so that when they tell you it's time to tap out, you step back. Create boundaries around the things you know you have a tendency to overextend yourself with.
Ooh.
Boom. Don't bring work home. Allow home time to be for you and you alone. Leave your work at the office. Turn off your work phone or place your work laptop in a room away from you. And rest when your body says so. If you are tired, do not fight it. Take that nap your body is calling for. As you work through resisting burnout, your body will thank you. You will reclaim your self-worth and relinquish the need to be validated by overworking yourself for others.
Love that.
Needed to hear that today.
I know. Well,
And every day.
the flipping worked then, didn't it?
The flipping of the books.
I do have to say something about the nap part of it because I often find myself tired and I'll just work through it and then I don't really show up very present, especially if it's coursework or I'm trying to get an assignment done.
Yeah.
That's just not beneficial or helpful at all. So don't shame yourself if your initial 20 to 30 minute planned nap turns into 3 hours,
Right.
because your body decides when it's had enough rest and it'll wake you up. Okay?
Not being like, I can't take a nap because I'll sleep for 6 hours. And then you say that, I'm like, oh. I just...
Sometimes, and you know what? The thing is, because our REM cycles are usually lasting about 90 minutes, you have to sleep in those increments. So it's like 30, 60, 90. It's got to be in those 30 minutes because it starts over.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of the time, if you want to take an extended nap, hour and a half.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes naps just like, I'm just not a big... I have to be so tired to take a nap because a lot of times it just makes me feel worse. But it could be because I'm not... Yeah, it could be because I'm not honoring the time cycle of it all.
It could be. It probably just depends on the day, too.
Yeah.
There are different types of tired and different types of fatigue.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 things here, which I
think you just pick one.
am, but I don't know which one to pick.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to pick this one. Okay. Mine is, I feel like I'm Chef from Clueless. When they pick the books to read, we have to each pick one good book a week to read. Mine is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Practice accepting compliments. A compliment is when someone tells you something nice about yourself without expectations. Sometimes it can be hard to accept compliments, especially for Black women and brown women as well. We often feel like we have to earn good praise. Think of the last time someone gave you a compliment. You probably reacted in one of these ways. 1, you minimized the statement with a self-deprecating phrase, or you quickly deflected the attention elsewhere with a statement of comparison. I don't think that looks good on me. It will look better on you. Most people who give compliments are not looking for anything in return. They just want you to know how fabulous you are and that you should recognize it as well. Practice this exercise by reflecting on why it's so hard for you to accept compliments at times. Is it because you don't think you deserve receiving them? If so, why not? Next, practice simply saying thank you. Next time you receive a compliment. Last, give compliments. This will build up your tolerance for being around them. Period. You'll get into the groove of accepting compliments with this activity. When you practice accepting compliments, you boost your self-esteem and mood. You begin to believe that you are that chick. And you understand your road to radical self-care doesn't always have to be uncomfortable. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Amen. I'm really bad about receiving compliments about my appearance and looks. I'd say really bad. I'm not great. I'm better at receiving compliments about stuff that I've done, like accomplishments.
Right.
Someone told me that the other day, oh, you're so valued and thank you for your initiative. I'm like, this is the best compliment. I literally said that in my email back. I was like, this is the best compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
But like,
because to people like us, it is. Like, yeah, I know I am doing a lot. Thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah. But if like you say something nice about my hair, it's like, oh, it's so greasy, it's so short, and I'm going gray. What's up with that? What's up with that?
I think that it could be just my perception. Speaking from a third-party observer with no real interest in the matter, I feel like you embrace the grays.
I try to, but I have questions about them.
In what way?
What are they doing here?
Oh.
I don't know if it's a hereditary thing. I guess
Okay.
I need to ask my mom when she started going gray. I really do think it's more on the maternal side because my dad really didn't start going gray for a while. And my brother, who's 3 years younger than me, has almost half of his head is gray. He's got a lot of gray hairs.
He has a lot of gray hair, yeah.
So that probably speaks to the genetics of it all. Which is, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I think me and my brother have probably done our best to break the cycle because my mom used to pluck the gray hairs out of her head. And I will never forgive her for that because she could have had so much beautiful silver hair by now. And usually after a while, if you pluck it, the follicle just dies.
Oh.
Yeah, so the whole strand will just stop growing.
Yeah. Recently, in the last year, I've started getting them in my hairline, and it's always in the same spot.
Okay.
I get them right here, and then I just the other day plucked one right here.
Don't pluck it!
I'm not ready for that. It's not time yet.
You literally cannot even see it.
I know.
I bet you it's so much harder to see in curly hair.
It is.
Do
I
not
will say
pluck your
that.
head hairs, please.
But when they're
PSA.
they were in my, it was in my edges.
Girl, it's hard to see it on camera, but that's literally all they are. All my baby hairs right here.
Yeah.
These are the ones that are gray. Yeah, these
Yeah.
go first right by the hairline. Look, right here, too.
Ugh, I hate it. Why can't it start in the middle or in the back?
In the back, that would look
To the
silly.
back of the bus for you.
That would look really silly. Can you imagine?
It would kind of look cool. It would look like you intentionally like just dyed the bottom half of your hair.
I'm thinking like on the crown.
No. That would be weird.
Like under here, like don't show me. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know. It's this thing that I have because I am such a young, spirited person. I have a hard time with aging because I'm like, I just want to be fun and young and crazy forever. I think that aging really is all in your mind and your attitude.
yes.
Not all. A lot of it can be because it's like your body does deteriorate. Like you can't escape that.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's the problem that I have with it. It reminds me that I am getting older, but in here and in here, I still feel like I'm 25.
Or younger. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think reframing aging is really important, even though it's extremely difficult to do because it's a privilege that not everybody gets. Mm-hmm. And you define how you feel because your number is your number. But how you feel internally is your actual age.
Yeah.
Right? What is age anyway? It's all subjective. Who cares?
Honestly.
But yes, that about wraps it up for us. I hope you enjoy those affirmations. Again, 1-day delivery, or if you want to get it digitally, you may. And we'll link where you can buy that as well.
And you guys, it is like a nice quality book. It is,
Yes. It's
hardcover.
It's giving ASMR.
yes, I really enjoy it. Really just enjoyed having her on in general.
Very
She's
much.
just such a light, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear the episode.
Yeah, it was such a joyful conversation.
Yeah.
We very much had a good time.
Yeah, as we always do.
As we always do.
We're fun bitches.
Yes. If you made it to the end of this episode on YouTube specifically or anywhere, you can comment a bunny.
Yes.
Yeah, comment a bunny.
What is it? El conejo malo. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
That was very much the Duolingo version.
El conejo malo. That man? That Duolingo man? Sponsor us, Duolingo, please.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
It would be.
Yeah. And then, as usual, be sure to hit the follow button if you are on Spotify or Apple. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Say hello in the comments. We love talking to you guys. And follow us on our Instagram at empathsanonpod.
Everywhere. And that'll do it.
That'll do, donkey.
That'll do, donkey.
Bye, guys. We love you, and take care of yourself.
Period.
Period.
Bye.